newspaper briefing on Asteric TV. My name is Dabur Gift and I have our analyst, Mr. Abdul Malik Mustafa.
Good morning, Gift.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. So we will delve into the newspaper headlines that are making waves today in Nigeria. And I will start off with the Daily Sun newspaper. So the major headline on the Daily Sun newspaper says, VP slot, APC, PDP under pressure as deadline expires. Opposition party screens 3 shortlisted candidates. Ruling party in dilemma over religion balance. The Daily Trust newspaper says, running mates, I believe in politics of inclusion, Lalong. Asiwaju can't win without a Muslim running mate, Kalu. And then all eyes on Buhari, Tinubu. PDP screens contenders today. The Nation newspaper has it that last minute intrigues in PDP over Atiku's running mate. Ikimi panel to screen Wike. Anxiety among party chiefs over choice. And then below on the Nation newspaper it says issues in varsity unions strike complicated, says minister. Government ASU talks ongoing. The Guardian newspaper has it that VP APC still consulting as PDP screens Wike today. It also has it that local airlines risk collapse as jets are hits 714 naira per litre. Lastly, we have the Punch newspaper, and on the Punch newspaper it says Wike Okowa faced panel today. Camps fight over Atiku's VP slot. Atiku needs VP that can help rescue Nigeria from APC. Okowa's aide insists. Wike's structure will give Atiku victory. Nwuke, ex-Rivers commissioner. And then APC may unveil Tinubu's VP today amid Muslim to Muslim tickets controversy. And it also has it that extend voter registration deadline, reps urge INEC. So these are the headlines we have. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll discuss these headlines with our analyst. Please stay with us. Welcome back. So the most trending issue on the papers is the whole VP conspiracy in the two leading political parties in Nigeria, both the APC and then the PDP. And the deadline that was given by INEC is gradually
rolling.
It's about 24 hours left.
You see, we cannot run away from the fact that Nigeria, we are diverse people. And being diverse people, almost every ethnic group, religion want to be represented. That is what we call inclusiveness. Once there's no balance in the equity, there is bound for problem, and that is what we are seeing right now. I don't think APC, the ruling APC, which is the ruling party, they didn't foresee the situation that they will come into this problem right now. It's a quagmire because they cannot move forward and they move back.
Exactly.
They held their Congress convention where Bola Ahmed Tinubu won. He won. Since his victory, the party has been immersed in crisis of how
to choose as the VP.
Choose as a vice president. If you look at it very well, you don't need anybody to tell you that, look, majority of the Hausa speaking areas in the north, that is the core north, where President Muhammadu Buhari comes from, they are more into APC. Now that Buhari is going, they are looking at it from the angle that they will lose out of power the moment Buhari is no more
like they
the
won't
president
be
again.
Represented anymore.
And you are looking at it that there is nothing wrong in it. You know, one thing about Nigeria, clear to ourselves, is that selfish interest. You understand? If somebody within Tinubu's camp, be that person a Christian or Muslim, what they will say is all about victory. You understand? as politicians, every politician is aiming at victory. Whatever way, whatever process that will give him or her that victory, he will go for it. And that is exactly what Odjus Okalo is saying, that look, 70% of the vote from the north comes from the Muslim dominated area, and giving a Muslim that VP slot, it will garner that support out. But it's not only about victory. We should go beyond a victory. If you look at somebody like Governor Lalong, whose name also featured, Lalong in the past 7 years has been working in the plateau, because if you are talking about North, the hotbed of crisis of sectarian, ethno-religious crisis between Plateau and Kaduna. If you look at it very well, Governor Lalong, despite if he has any deficiency, he has been able to manage the crisis on the plateau to the extent that for a year or 2 or 3 there was hitch-free crisis on the plateau, until recently, whereby we started having issues of herdsmen in Basa and like that. So how do we do it? Governor Lalong, all along, he has been trying to midwife between the Hausa Fulani in Plateau and the dominant and the indigenous owners of Plateau. He managed them through inclusiveness. He made sure that he bring them together to the extent that the crisis was becoming a thing of the past. What are we talking about here? If you look at it very well, his own administration was a clear departure from that of Jonah Jang, whereby he tried to bring the people together and let them see themselves as one, instead of being aligned along the religious divide. So such person name has been featured too. But you could understand that, look, this 2023, to me, based on what I'm seeing, 2023 has already taken the dimension of religion. Before now, what we had before, it was more of ethnicity, but now it's more or less like a issue of religion. If you observe very well, Northern Christians seems to be aligned to the Labour Party of Peter Obi, whereas the Hausas now are now aligning themselves towards Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they want to make sure that they provide the VP. So that alone is affecting the candidacy of Lalong. Okay. You discover that just like yesterday, I was together with some men. Both of them are from Plateau. They were appealing to themselves, saying, look, this is our own. His name is one of the frontline contender for this. We should support him. But you see that a lot of them from the plateau are saying, no, look, to hell with him. Whatever, if you know the life, they should name him as the vice president to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are not going to vote for him. Let's try something new this time around. And categorically, they were saying that, look, we are for Peter Obi. Likewise, if you go to Southern Kaduna, the same thing is the same voice that is coming out. That, look, whatever comes son, we are for Peter Obi. So you observe that APC is in a quagmire on how to move forward. Likewise, the PDP too. Well. PDP too, they are not their own is even funny. Funny in the sense that, look, before now, someone like Wike, who is seriously contending to be named as the running mate to Atiku, before now he made so much utterances regarding being a vice president to anybody. He said, look, he was equivocally clear about it. He said, look, I'm not going to step down for anybody. I'm for number one this thing. Nobody can intimidate me. He's so vocal. He said about it. The videos are there. There are viral videos about him where he made on
and concerning that, it has been said that there will be a screening today, and Wike is one of the shortlisted.
The shortlisted and the hottest contender. It means that politicians, you can't take politicians for the award. You understand? You can only believe them, because what if you reach an agreement with them to say, okay, gift, I'm going to support you in the morning tomorrow. Before that tomorrow, don't go to sleep, because if you go to sleep, it will be a different ball game entirely, and that is exactly what is happening now. Wike is ready to take that VP slot. He said it, his campaign group, they are saying that, look, Wike has a structure on the ground whereby it's only his structure that can give Atiku that victory come 2023.
So they are leveraging basically on Wike's
strength now. And apart from that, again, if you look at it, Rivers State is like an ATM, whereby it's a very big, they have a very big purse, whereby they can throw that financial muscle behind the PDP. That is what they are. There are so many factors to look into when we are talking about politics. It's not just because you have a fine man. It's not because you have somebody with a fine face or have a good manifestos. No, it's far beyond that. It's all about who can give you that victory. Who can give you that victory goes beyond appealing to the general public for electorate. It's how to do the funding. It's a crucial point. If we are talking about Labour Party now, Labour Party has to be present in all the 36 states of the federation before they can think about victory.
Exactly.
So it talks about funding. It must be there. So if Wike can have that kind of, I think there is a speculation on how much he spent on his campaign. So if he can spend that kind of huge of money, he can equally throw something meaningful behind Atiku and give them that victory. So
yes,
it's beyond having someone like Okowa. Although Okowa too has been is a gentleman, he has his own good side too. There are a lot of things, consideration that politicians put. There are a lot of factors that politicians put into consideration that it's not like you and I here. So let's watch and see. They said today they will meet the panel. So let's see.
Let's see how it plays out. So let's drift a bit from politics and government. Yeah. It says local airlines at the risk of collapse as aviation fuel hits 714 naira per liter. I really think that is quite outrageous per liter.
Gift. Let me ask you this. Tell me which one is not alarming. As we are talking now, diesel now goes for over 800 naira per liter.
Petrol.
As we are talking about haulage of goods from north to south or south to north, whereby it's being transported by trucks, and those trucks are relying on diesel. Diesel is over 800 naira per liter. So the aviation fuel is number one. Is one thing. There are some other aspects of aviation whereby maintenance, the cost of maintenance of aircraft has becoming too high. A lot of airlines today are not doing too well.
Some are at the brink of collapse. Actually.
So when you start hearing this kind of stories, what they are invariably saying is government intervention. Government intervention in the sense that government should be able to provide some succor, a kind of financial support. They have been doing it. Even it's a worldwide thing. It's not only about Nigeria here only. So when you start hearing this kind of alarming story, what they are invariably saying is government should come to our aid.
Exactly. And
we cannot be a nation without having a vibrant air transport system.
Yeah.
We must have a very good transport system that is both the air, land, and the sea.
And I think the inflation has a lot to do with this as well, because even though we are a petrol producing country, we still depend on other countries.
I don't believe that we should even be proud. We take that to be proud that we are a petrol producing country. What are we talking about here? You extract our crude oil from here. You take it overseas, process and refine and sell it back to us at a very high. What are we talking about?
It still boils down to what you said about having a vibrant and good governance.
Yes, it's all about. There's no. Thank God the 2023 is around the corner. We have contenders everywhere. They are all jockeying everywhere to appeal to Nigerians to say we can do this, we can do that. I believe that Nigerians now are much more wiser. It's just that we will not allow the factor of ethnicity and religion to
in the way of our judgment.
Otherwise, when we look very well, we should be able to pick someone that can represent our interests and get Nigeria working. Because this thing is beyond it's even annoying, whereby you say that okay, every day we keep on selling crude oil as we sell at a given price less than, we are selling our crude at less than $100 per barrel, whereby when it's being refined, our refined product we are buying at a very high cost. It means we are not gaining anything.
Exactly, we are at the losing end.
We are at the losing end, because that crude oil per barrel that you are selling, crude oil, you must understand this, crude oil, it contains both refined PMS, AGO, and the diesel itself. The AGO, it contains, the AGO is kerosene, whereby this one is diesel, and it contains all of them into one. You understand? So we are not making profit, but we are losing. So we should rather start looking at diversifying our economy from relying on oil to we have other things that will yield us revenue.
Exactly.
We should start looking towards that.
Okay, so moving away from that, the House of Reps has moved a notion pleading with INEC to extend the deadline for voters registration. Over the past few days, we've noticed like an influx of people trying to register for the PVC, exactly. And then the time that INEC has placed as the deadline is gradually
almost rolling by.
Yes, and then there are issues of not sufficient equipment for voter registration and things like that. So how do you think this is going to play out? Like,
well, it's just unfortunate that look, as Nigerians, we have our own problem as citizens. Otherwise, if government or INEC decide to say, okay, look, from so time to so time, go out and get your PVC.
Usually is when the deadline is drawing near.
That is when Nigerians
see an influx of
people will rush as if this. But
exactly.
Even if you decide to say, okay, we are leaving this thing so that from January to December, Nigerians go and obtain your PVC. If you were 16 in 2015, by now you are approaching 23 or 24 or 22. So you are of voting age. Go and obtain your PVC. If you were on the age then, but now you are no more on the age, go and obtain your PVC. You discover that same person, he will not go until that dying minute. Then the rush will start. Don't look at the case of NIN. I believe up to now people are still doing NIN.
Exactly, there are still people rushing to
Barrister Monday Obani, he went to the court to challenge the federal government regarding the ban on SIM, and he won. That is why you see the extension. Otherwise, Nigerians, a lot of people, if you go to any of these telecom operators now, you will see a lot of people outside. They waited until their SIM card has been blocked. That is to tell you the nature of Nigerians. If you decide to say, okay, this PVC, let it be from January to December. That December 31st, you will see a lot of Nigerians.
And
that is
when
wonder
where they were. But so, I still think it's a good idea.
It's a good idea. Nobody, as a citizen, is against your right not to vote.
Yes.
You have the right. So, if the government is supposed to make provision for everything that that will make you get your PVC to vote. So it's your right. It's the right of every citizen. So they must provide everything. So if the National Assembly, the rep, they are saying that, look, INEC extend this date, and it's beyond extending the date. They should create more outlets so that wherever you are, we were in Abuja now. To me, it's not something feasible to say, okay, you are leaving Metama to go as far as Gariki to go and do your PVC, instead of you to have a center which is closer to you.
More than one center, in fact.
More than one center in, say, in Metama, whereby you can walk into there, spend 1 hour. 1 hour is even too much. It's data capturing. To capture your data, and give you your distance. So then you go.
And also, there's the issue of equipment.
That is what we are talking about. So we are talking about more centers. We are talking about equipment
and more personnel.
More personnel.
Yes.
INEC has already based on their 2021 budget, they made their defense. They said they need about 300 and is it 305 billion for the 2023 election, and you know the process has already started. The process to 2023. When you hear about 2023, it's not like the election itself. There are processes
that leads to
the election. So part of it, I believe they must have released part of the money to them, so they should be able to flood everywhere with the machines. Although these are sensitive machines, it requires a lot of security, because election is not something that no, it's a worldwide thing. They don't play with it. If you allow politicians, they can manipulate the process from the PVC process right now. So it's something that INEC must put a lot of security behind it.
Okay. So let's move a little to social issues. We hear that police uncover hotel where children are used as sex slaves in Anambra State. In a certain hotel, it has been reported that 14 to 17-year-olds are being used as sex slaves in Anambra State.
Well, this thing is really dehumanizing. It's really painful. You understand?
These are minors.
For instance, you keep on hearing about baby factory, and this thing revolves around in the southeast. You understand? Baby factory, all this trafficking and this. It's really disappointing. Though, worldwide, if you are allowed a weak system, you should expect all forms of criminality. Exactly. We need strong institutions. NAPTIP, they are there. Are they performing their duty? Well, thank God they have been arrested. But the kind of syndicate behind this kind of crime, they should search within their own conscience. If you can take somebody's daughter, underage girls, drive them into sex work industry.
And these are minors.
These are minors. You understand? If you can't allow your own daughter to do it, why? You should think about. In fact, we seem to be taken away by the worldly things. We seem to worship money, because if just like, let me put it this way: if something that will hurt me, I will not do it to you, and something that will hurt you, don't do it to me. We're all human beings.
Gradually losing
our human value. Humanity. You understand? Sense of humanity is no longer there.
Exactly.
You just go about from street to street. Okay, for instance, like this one now. I read one on one of these national daily. A woman sold her sister's daughter for 600,000 in Port Harcourt. Her own sister, her niece, she sold her
own blood.
5 years old girl. She sold her for 600,000. The case is before they were paraded in Port Harcourt yesterday.
And then we hear that the people that were running this particular place is a 35-year-old female and a 28-year-old man.
Yes, yeah, you see, we are now in our generation is being caught by immoral value. You understand? Like we said earlier, the issue of money, the way we worship money, the way people go after money, people don't care anymore. How you make your money, nobody cares. If you observe very well now, you have Yahoo boys. The Yahoo boys, some of the Yahoo boys, their parents enroll them into an academy to learn on how to swindle people. It happens. Go to Edo, go to Delta, go to Lagos. You have university students. They are no longer going to the class anymore. They drive exotic cars. Their parents watch them. Their parents support them through many ways.
They don't try to find out
ways. So they don't find out how. I mean, how can you explain a 17-year-old boy, 18-year-old boy riding a car worth 12 million?
Exactly.
Where did he make that money from? If you are as a father, you know your worth, you know your limit, but you're having a son whereby he's riding a car above, even if it is 1 million.
Exactly.
Of fund, manpower, because they need to be everywhere. Investigators, it means they need to employ. They need to have offices in all the 36 states of the federation. Apart from that, again, they need to be within the 774 local government. They must have presence in all the 774 local government.
Exactly.
You know, they work in police. So So for them to work effectively, they work with the police. So they cannot approach the police to say, police, come. This social person took my daughter away and I've not heard from her. They cannot. These are part of the problem that we are dealing with. So all is all about good governance. We cannot afford to continue like this. The last time World Bank warned that, look, over 20 million Nigerians have slided into multidimensional poverty. It's not just poverty alone, but when poverty has become multidimensional, it means a lot of things. It contains a lot of things. We are talking about illiteracy. We are talking about ill health. We are talking about so many things, which is all boils down to poverty. That is the state we are in now.
So there you have it. We'll probably wait for the INEC deadline to elapse, so we see who the vice presidential candidates for the APC and the PDP will be.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Please do join us again tomorrow. My name is Dabir Gifts and I have Abdul Malik Mustafa. See you tomorrow. Bye.